Hi.
Your name is Casey Saltz, is that correct?
Yes.
And where do you live?
In Elizabethton?
Okay. Do you know the defendant, Megan Boswell?
Yes.
Can you tell us how, and I'm going to ask you to maybe go just a little bit closer to that microphone so we can catch your voice. Thank you. Tell us how you know Megan Boswell.
She was a foster child to my parents.
Okay. And what is your mom's name?
Gail Kite or Patricia Kite.
Okay. And so did Megan Boswell live with your mom, Gail Patricia
Yes.
Kite, when she was pregnant with Evelyn?
Yes.
Okay. And did she also have Evelyn while she was living with your mom?
Yes.
Okay. And do you see Megan Boswell in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Can you point her out to us, please?
She's right there.
Okay. Can you describe what she's wearing, please?
A blue jacket, navy blue jacket.
Okay. Your Honor, we'd ask the court to acknowledge that. She's identified the defendant. Okay. So during this time frame, are we talking about 2018 and early 2019? Or do you, and you may not know the answer to this, when she was living with your mom?
I'm thinking it was just 2019.
Okay. Let me ask it this way. Do you remember when Megan gave birth to Evelyn?
Yes.
And where were you working at the time?
Premier Pediatrics.
Okay. And obviously we probably know the answer to this, but what is Premier Pediatrics?
A pediatrician's office.
Okay. And where was Premier Pediatrics located?
In Johnson City.
Okay. Do you remember how many, is that place still open?
No.
Okay. That's why I'm asking it kind of in the past tense. It's now closed, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. How many pediatricians were working there at the time?
2.
Okay. And what were their names?
Dr. Pugh and Dr. Trosen.
Okay. And what was your job description there?
Receptionist, front office.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about what your job duties were at that pediatrician's office?
Scheduling and making appointments, answering phone calls, medical records, all the front duties.
Okay. Would you check people in?
Yes, check in, check out.
Okay. Okay. And were you able to see the waiting room when people would come in, or would they come up to the window and check in? How would that work?
They would come into the waiting room, they would come into the front office to the window and check in, and then we had 2 separate waiting rooms, one for well visits and one for sick visits. You could kind of see in there from where we were from the doors open, but to actually see in there, you had to get up and walk in there.
Okay. After Evelyn was born, is this the office that Megan Boswell brought Evelyn to for her well visits?
Yes.
And when she would bring Evelyn, would you know when they came into the office?
Yeah.
Okay. And is that based upon what you just told us about how the office runs?
Correct.
Okay. Based on your experience of that office, can you tell us what your office schedule was for newborns? How often would they come in?
They would come in once a month for the first couple of months, and then we would kind of space them out to every 3 to 4 months until they were about 2 years old, and then they would come once a year.
Okay. So for that first year, is it common for them to come more than once from 0 to 3 months?
Yes.
What about from 3 to 6 months? How often would they come?
I'm thinking it would be about 2 to 3 times within that time frame.
Okay. What about from, say, 6 to 9 months?
Probably just once at the end. I think by then it was every 3 months.
Okay. And same for 9 to 12 months, it would be just
Yes.
one visit? Okay. When a newborn and a baby in that first year, would they always, when they came to the office, would they always see the same doctor, or would they?
We would try to keep them with the same doctor just for continuity of care.
Okay.
But if that doctor was unavailable, the other pediatrician would also see them too.
Okay. And did Premier Pediatrics keep records of visits on their patients?
Yes.
Was that done on every patient?
Yes.
Including the records of Evelyn Boswell?
Correct.
Okay. And since you worked in the front, were you aware of whether that office did any kind of reminders for patients to remind them of appointments?
Yes. They would get an automated call the day before.
Okay.
And we could see if they answered or replied back to that.
Okay. So you could kind of see if they said, yes, I'm coming, or no, I need to
Right.
reschedule, or whatever.
Correct.
Okay. Did your office also give appointment cards
We
out?
did.
Okay. And when would that be done?
Usually when you check out for your previous appointment, we would schedule the next one
Okay.
and give an appointment card.
Okay. And after Evelyn was born, did Megan Boswell bring her to her scheduled appointments?
Yes.
Your Honor, please approach. Subject to clarify. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jim.
Okay. We're just going to ask for some clarification on that. When I asked that last question, did Megan Boswell bring Evelyn, and I'll ask it in a different way maybe, did she bring Evelyn to her normal appointments for, say, the first weeks that she was supposed to bring her? Did she bring Evelyn to those appointments?
Yes.
Okay. And did she continue to bring her to appointments up until a certain time closer to the end of 2019?
Yes.
Okay. For her 12-month visit, is that something that would have been scheduled at Evelyn's last appointment, her previous appointment?
You're right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And okay. And so we asked about the appointment card. Do you recall anyone babysitting Evelyn during that same time, around early December?
Yes.
Okay. Who babysat Evelyn?
My aunt,
Okay. What was her name?
Sue Whitson.
Okay. And is that your mom's sister?
Correct.
Okay. And do you know when she babysat Evelyn?
I don't know like the exact dates, but I do know that she kept her a few times.
Okay. Do you know what month that was in?
In early December.
Okay. And do you recall receiving a photograph?
Yes.
Okay. What was the photograph of?
Evelyn's had a really bad diaper rash.
Okay. And that's a photograph that you saw yourself
Yes.
of Evelyn. Okay. Can you describe what it looked like?
Really blistery, and you could kind of see like on the sides of her legs where she had been scratching, possibly some scratch marks.
Okay. Since you're working at a pediatrician's office, did you show that to anyone?
I did show it to one of the nurses. I don't recall which nurse I had showed it to though.
Okay. And you're not going to be able to say what they told you, but then what did you then tell your Aunt Sue about what she needed to do with Evelyn?
Objection, I think we're getting far afield here.
I'm not asking to elicit hearsay. I'm asking what she told. Okay, so we're going to move to Evelyn's 12-month well visit. Did Megan Boswell bring Evelyn to her 12-month well visit?
No.
I'm going to pass you a document and see if you can identify it. Okay. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
Do you recognize the handwriting?
Yes.
Whose handwriting is that?
That is mine.
Okay. And do you recognize what that document is?
Correct. Yes.
And is that a fair and accurate representation of what it looked like when you produced that document?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, we'd be asked for that to be admitted as exhibit number 63.
My bad.
Okay. What is it?
The reminder card?
Yeah. Permission to publish to the jury, Your Honor. Okay. Okay. Can you see that okay? And is that the appointment card that you wrote on for Megan Boswell?
Yes.
And for the appointment of December 5th, 2019. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So when she did not show up for her appointment, what did you do?
I texted Megan.
Okay. So you had her contact information?
I did.
Okay.
Where she was part of the family, we did keep in contact.
Okay. And how would you contact her?
Through Facebook Messenger, mostly.
Okay. And had you communicated with her before on Facebook, or was this the first
Yes.
time?
No, I've
Yeah.
communicated with her before.
Okay. And is that how you reached out to her that day?
Yes.
Okay. I'll pass you another document. And I'm going to ask if you recognize that.
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell, without telling me what it says, can you tell me what it is?
It's the text thread of off of Messenger where we were talking.
Okay. And is that a fair and accurate representation of your conversation via Facebook Messenger with Megan Boswell?
Yes.
Okay. We'd ask that to be admitted as exhibit number 64, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No, sir.
The full exhibit 63.
Permission to publish?
Go ahead.
Your Honor, we've got a few more of these. Would you like for me to leave the Elmo up until we're done? Okay. 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 So obviously that's your name on the left. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so then Megan Boswell's is in blue. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And can you tell us what you said, the message that you sent to Megan that day?
That Evelyn had an appointment today. Do you need me to reschedule it? It was for her 1-year baby check.
Okay. And then what did Megan Boswell say in response?
That she had thought it was the next day.
Okay. And then I'm missing part of that. What did you say in response to her?
I had asked her where she was.
And what was her response?
That she was working.
Okay. And I meant to ask you, the date is December 5th, 2019?
Yes.
Okay, and this would have been after her appointment, after she'd already missed the appointment?
Right.
Okay. And did you reschedule her appointment?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, and do you recall when you rescheduled it?
I don't recall the date, no.
Okay, I'm going to pass you. I'm going to give you a second to read through that. I believe it's 2 pages. Okay. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
Is that a fair and accurate representation of an additional conversation that you had with the defendant?
Yes.
And how did you have that conversation?
Through Facebook Messenger.
Okay. And what is the date of that conversation?
December 6th and December 11th.
Okay. And does that December 6th date help refresh your memory on the date that her appointment was rescheduled for?
Well, I did ask about the baby's appointment today, so I would say that I did reschedule it for the next day.
Okay, so that would have been December 6th?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, we'd ask that be made exhibit number 65, please.
Any objection?
No, sir.
So the December 6th message,
Actually, I think I'm going to go ahead and let her look at this one too and keep it together as 1, 6, and 11. Sorry. To keep this is one continuous. I'm going to give you one additional page for that same exhibit. If you could just take a look at it, please. Okay. And do you recognize that as also being part of that conversation?
Yes.
same day.
Does that go into the date of December 11th as well?
Yes.
Okay. But it has to be that collective exhibit number 65.
The full exhibit 65.
Yes, sir.
So,
Permission to publish?
go ahead.
Okay. Ms. Saltz, I'm going to go through one page at a time of this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So again, this is the day after that first missed appointment, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And can you tell me the date of this conversation?
December 6th,
Okay, and what do
2019.
you, I'm sorry,
December 6th, 2019.
and what do you ask the defendant, Megan Boswell?
What about the baby's appointment today?
Okay, and what does Megan say to you?
That she says I had to come in. I've been called in since 4:30 a.m. I'll have to reschedule it. That she'd been working crazy hours.
Okay, and what did you ask her?
Where she was working,
And what did Megan Boswell say?
the chicken place.
And then what did you tell her in response?
To just tell me a day when she can come for sure.
Okay. And then did she respond to you?
Yeah, she said that she'll figure it out and that she's working all day tomorrow.
Okay. Is this a continuation of that same conversation?
Yes.
Okay. And then what do you say back in response to Megan Boswell?
I told her it was okay. I just didn't want her to get too far behind on her shots.
Okay. And does the next conversation start on December 11th?
Yes.
And is that started by Megan Boswell to
Yes.
you? Okay. What does Megan Boswell say to you?
She's asking if her dad or Ashley can bring Evelyn for a doctor's appointment because she had been working really hard from
Okay.
4:30 to 6:30.
Okay, and does she say that she's staying past 6:30?
Oh, yeah, it does say, and then she's staying after to clean, too.
Okay, and what is your response to her?
I told her that, yeah, it was fine, that they could bring her. Do I need to make an appointment?
And then what does Megan Boswell say to you?
That when her dad wakes up, she'll ask him if he can.
Okay. And the last page of this exhibit. Are we still on December 11th, 2019?
Yes.
And then what do you say in response to her?
I asked her, is she sick or does she need, is it for the well child visit?
Well, at the top, I think you responded to her first at the very top.
Oh,
Forget-
we
is
went
that
over
was
it.
that on the slide? Okay, go ahead. So you say to her, is she sick or for her well child check?
Yes,
And what does she say to you?
for her well child.
Okay, and then what do you say back to her?
I said, okay, I'll look through the schedule and see when I can get her in.
Okay. Okay. Do you recall if you rescheduled that for a date?
I want to say that I did, but I don't remember an exact date.
Okay. I'm going to pass you one last set of photographs. I'll give you a second to read through them. Okay. And are you able to identify that?
Yes.
Do you recognize it?
Yes.
Okay, what is it?
It's more of a text thread off Facebook Messenger.
Okay, what is the date of that
December
conversation?
15th
Okay.
of 2019.
Okay, and is that also a fair and accurate representation of your conversation via Facebook Messenger with Megan Boswell?
Yes.
Your Honor, we'd ask that to be made exhibit number 66.
Okay.
Before exhibit 66. What was the date again?
December 13th, 2019, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Permission to publish.
Go ahead.
Again, I'm going to show it to you one page at a time. Okay, so you said the date on that was December 13th, 2019, is that right?
Yes.
And what do you say to Megan Boswell?
Is Evelyn coming today?
Okay. Is that because she had an appointment scheduled for that day?
Yes.
Okay. And then what did you say?
I had said
Actually, I should ask you this. Did she respond to that message at all?
no.
Okay, so then what did you say?
I said, I need to know, Dr. Pugh is asking. She's not happy about her missing these appointments.
Okay, and what did Megan Boswell say in response to you?
That she was going to switch her pediatrician to somewhere closer.
Okay, and does she say anything else?
That she could pay for missed appointments or whatever.
Okay. And then what do you say in response?
I
to
told
her?
her no is okay. Dr. Pugh is just worried about y'all. She said it's not like y'all to miss appointments. That was a typo. She was asking me if I knew what was going on.
Okay. All right. Okay. How long did you work at Premier Pediatrics?
Probably a little over 4 years.
Okay. And during that time, I'm assuming like children would switch pediatricians. Is
Correct.
that a fair statement?
Yes.
And when they did, would you get record requests from the new doctor?
Yes.
Okay. Did you get a record request from another pediatrician for Evelyn Boswell?
Not to my knowledge.
From any other doctor's office for Evelyn Boswell?
No.
Is it typical, based upon the time that you were there for 4 years, typically would you get a request from another doctor to get their vaccine records, etc.
Yes.
of the child? Okay. And I'm assuming you personally, you've met Evelyn yourself, is that right?
Yes.
Do you recall the last time that you saw Evelyn alive?
November 28th of
Okay.
2019.
Okay. So it had been just a little bit after she turned 1, is that right?
Yes.
Do you remember where you were?
At my home.
Okay. And do you remember why she was there?
I think Megan and Evelyn were going to visit with my parents, and they were busy, so she stopped by to visit with me.
Okay. So she came by to visit, and
Yeah.
it was just Megan and Evelyn together?
Yes.
Did Evelyn appear healthy that day?
Yeah.
Any concerns that you had for her?
No.
Was she mobile yet?
Yeah.
Was she walking?
Toddling around. I think
Okay.
she was still holding on to stuff, but she was getting around.
Okay. All right. Okay. Please answer any questions that Mr. Scott has for you. I'm sorry, Mr. Horn.
It's okay.
Ms. Saltz, right?
Yes.
My name's Tim Horn. I'm one of Megan's attorneys. I just want to ask you a couple quick questions to make sure I understood your testimony. And that is, since Evelyn's birth, up until roughly right at the 12-month mark, Megan was bringing Evelyn in as recommended for these wellness checkups.
Correct.
It would be a fair statement to say that she did that up until Ms. Massengill asked you right at the infancy or the onset of December.
Correct.
So a year.
Yeah.
And during that year period, you said you'd worked in a pediatrician's office for about 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
It would be normal or customary that if, when you're examining a child and you saw signs of abuse or neglect, you'd have a duty to report that, wouldn't you?
Yes.
And that's a statutory duty that's imposed upon physicians and doctors to do.
Correct.
So I'm gleaning from your testimony that Megan was doing everything that a mother should, or that we would want a mother to do for this first year of this child's life.
Correct.
And to your knowledge, there was nothing documented, or there was no concerns about Evelyn's welfare. Is that correct?
As far as I know, that's correct.
And so essentially the substance of your testimony here today is that at the end of December, at the infancy of December there, she just didn't show and never showed from that point on.
Right.
Okay. That's all the questions I have.
No, Your Honor.